Showtime! You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. And why are the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching a replay of this, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much once again. Thank you. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away, throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So, I got all these tabs open up and everything. But as soon as I see something in the chat box, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away, right? Plus, sometimes I say all the time, it's instead of me just rambling on for half an hour or whatever, it's nice just to talk to somebody sometimes. So please feel free, throw a comment in the comment box. I greatly appreciate it. First of all, before I get started, if you're not a supporter of my channel, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page, okay? I got 3 different membership levels, okay? The first one is called the Saquon. The second membership level is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them and everything, all right? So if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And then second of all, if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Any help I can get, I greatly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I got to move my chair because my dog, every night, as soon as I start talking, my dog wants to get in here. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please go down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way, next time I go live and put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? So, but as I said, if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. Any support I can get from my channel, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And then finally, in the description box, there's 2 Facebook links, okay? The top Facebook link takes you to my Facebook. It's a group, okay? It's called the New York Giants. It's the Gridiron, all right? But it's a group, okay? Basically, I got my YouTube channel, all right, my Facebook group, and my Facebook page, all called pretty much the New York Giants, the Gridiron. That way, I say this all the time. That way, a moron like me, I can remember it. I don't have to, what's my group called? What's the page called? What's the YouTube channel? It's all called the same thing, right? We have over 2,800 members in the group, all right? I try to get at least like 10 things in there every day. And if you join the group, not only do I put stuff in there, but the members put stuff in there as well, too, all right? I said, whether it's just a picture, a post, a video, something making fun of the Eagles, something making fun of the Cowboys. I mean, I try to get at least 10 things in there every day. And it's like every day, it's like 7 days a week, right? And then the second link in the Facebook link in the description box takes you to my Facebook page, okay? I'm the administrator. Okay, so I'm the only one to post anything. Unlike the group, if you're a member of the group, you can post stuff in there too, right? But in the page, I'm the only one posting the page, all right? Right now, we have 934 people who like the page, and there's over 3,700 people following the page. And as I said, it's the same thing, all right, as with the group. I try to get like about 10 different, at least. In the off season, sometimes it's tough coming up with material, a lot of material every day. During the regular season, sometimes there's a ton of stuff. I mean, sometimes I have a hard time keeping up with all this stuff, to post in there. But I mean, even in the off season, I try to, if I can, get like 10 different things going in there every day. And I don't like commingle them. So basically, whatever posts and videos and stuff I put in the page, I don't put on the group, all right? So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, between the two, you get a ton of New York Giants information every day, all right? And I always say in every video, if you're not satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All that stuff said and done and out of the way with. Now, well, I mean, if by now they hadn't signed Richie James, the chances of him ever coming back were like really slim and none. but he's. I don't know. I mean, I guess you can't. I mean, him and Richie James and Kadarius Toney. I guess they're going to be looking for another Super Bowl. Well, not Kadarius Toney's going to be looking for another Super Bowl ring, but I guess I guess you can't blame Richie James if he's going out there and be catching passes from Patrick Mahomes. Now, he's got about his work cut out for him to maybe crack the starting lineup or whatever. But I'm sure he'll get some time. He'll maybe get some playing time. But I'm sure also where his value is also in the return game as well. So, okay, with Richie James, he did have a couple fumbles, which cost I believe it was 10 points against the Seahawks. Okay. That hurt. Okay. That hurt a lot. Okay. Because in that Seahawk game, the Seahawks, 27-13 was it? I believe it was something. But the Seahawks didn't get a lot of offense. Did not get a lot of offense. It wasn't like they were just walking up and down the field. So there's 2 turnovers at punt. The fumbles that Richie James had on his punt really hurt. Okay. The Giants' offense was not very good that day either. But, Richie James, he tied for the lead. He got caught the ball 57 times on 70 targets, good reception rate, right? For 567 yards and 4 touchdowns, right? But also a lot of it too, was a lot of what he did was out of the slot. Okay, I guess if you have like Hodgins on one side, you got Slayton, and then you got Richie James in the slot because we were just running out of slot. The guys, kept dropping like flies, obviously, last year. So you only have so many, only so many guys out there. But he did a respectable job for the Giants. But it's like we got a lot of guys that working in the slot. Okay, so if the chance of him bringing him back, if they would have brought back. Chances are he would have brought him back just to be a returner, and I'm sure the Giants probably have, I guess, other ideas in mind on who they were going to be as the return man. But Richie James, he came, he saw, he conquered, and he's off to another team. Wish him nothing but the best, and he might get himself another Super Bowl. I keep saying he might get himself a Super Bowl ring. Right, or he certainly has a good chance of going to a Super Bowl now that he's with the Kansas City Chiefs. Hopefully, Kadarius Toney doesn't rub off on him and he winds up getting injured all the time. But best of luck to him. Then we got. It's nice to see. Okay, out in Arizona. Okay, you got all those guys. Daniel. All the guys with Daniel Jones says. Well, it says the entire offense is training already. It's not the entire offense. There are some guys who are missing. Okay, Saquon's the only running back out there from what I saw. Okay, got a lot of guys. A lot of the wide receivers are out there. All the tight ends, but one. I think Myrick's is the only tight end who's not out there. Okay. But they got this here. It says the New York Giants have remarkable attendance for their player-led training out in Arizona. Big Blues offense has gotten together to begin preparing for the 2023 season extra early this offseason, which is great to see. Okay. Nearly the whole depth chart of quarterbacks and skill positions. Okay. Both quarterbacks are out there. Tyrod's out there. Daniel Jones is out there. So that's freaking phenomenal. Right. That makes, a lot of sense. Just said everybody waiting for Daniel Jones to throw the ball to him. Now you got 2 quarterbacks out there throwing the ball. So that's great. And he said a lot of skill position players have gotten together. Okay. Every year, quarterback Daniel Jones organizes offseason training with his skill position players. This year, Jones is joined by nearly his entire offense. Rather than a select few he typically sees this time of year among the Giants practicing in Arizona. Okay. Saquon's out there, okay? But then once again, I'm saying he's the only running back out there, okay? Deshaun Corbin. Oh, can you get by, buddy? I'm sorry. Deshaun Corbin's not out there. Brightwell's not out there. Breida's not out there. So, I don't know why. You're not going to know why, but it says it is notable that even the Giants' newest additions are in Arizona working out with their team. It is. It's great. I mean, you got Waller, new guy, right? He's out there. Sweeney's out there. Campbell's out there. Colin Johnson's coming back. He's out there. Jeff Smith's out there. Okay, so it's really, really good to see. Really, really good. All right. Giants are a long way out from organized training as OTA offseason workouts kick off for Big Blue on May 16th. Seeing New York's offense proactive getting together to get a head start on their offseason training should excite Giants fans. But also, it's great to see because you got this is the second season for Daniel Jones. Okay, so once again, he'll be more reacting or whatever. He won't be thinking as much, right? He'll just be hopefully this season he'll be looking at the second and third reads a lot more than he was last year. There were a few times last year, where he kind of maybe zoned in on a guy, maybe he wasn't looking at all his reads, wasn't looking at all the guys out there. And there were a couple of times that, I don't watch every play. I don't break down every play. Okay. But there's quite a few times what I'll do is I see people put YouTube videos out there. Okay. And they'll show the whole field for like a particular play. And what you wind up seeing, okay, is like Daniel Jones dropping back, okay, and he might be like looking over, in the middle, and maybe he might be looking here or something like that. Well, I've seen a couple times in the YouTube videos last year, okay, well, Daniel, there might be Darius Slayton down the sideline on the left-hand side, and doesn't seem like, it's might be wide open. Daniel Jones isn't looking at him. If he were to look at him, we might have a big play, but he's looking underneath and looking to check it down or something like that. And he throws the ball to somebody over the middle or maybe a Saquon out of the backfield or something like that. But I'm saying, but if somebody down the field, he's not looking down there. Well, hopefully he starts getting more and more comfortable in the system, and he'll start being able to look around, at maybe all of his reads. Because, you got to figure, he was with Duke. Okay. Then he had 1 year with Shermer. Okay. Then he had 2 years with the Clapper. All right. But then he had, now he has, Kafka / the Dable. Right. So, so he's a lot of offensive, so he had 4 offensive systems in 5 years, right? He had Duke, Shermer, Jason Garrett, and Dable. So that's 4 in 5 years. All right. So, basically every year he's learning a new offensive system. Not easy at all. And I'm saying, but now it'd be in his second season, right, with Kafka and Dable there. So that'll be huge. Even if a Kafka were to leave, okay, that means somebody else would be calling the plays, but the plays would still be the same. Okay. So I'm saying, so if Daniel Jones is the quarterback, in 2024, Dable's still there. If Kafka were to leave, right, which it seems like sooner or later, might wind up leaving. But at least the plays will be the same. Could you imagine? If Daniel Jones, is in the system for a third season or a fourth season, how much more comfortable he'll get with all the plays and everything. It's a tough enough position to play. It's a tough enough position to play when you don't have, the greatest of talent as far as wide receivers. And it's a tough position to play when you maybe don't have the best offensive line in all of football. So when you're dropping back the pass and you got the clock running in your head, oh my God, I got 3 seconds. I got to throw this ball, sometimes that might be the reason why he's not looking down the field. Right? He's like, I got to throw the ball within 3 seconds or I'm going to get creamed, So, but better times are ahead for Daniel Jones. Not the last season was horrible, but especially if we can keep some of these guys healthy, right? And obviously, of course, the big Darren Waller's out there. It says joins a stacked list of New York Giants players training in Arizona. All right, this is what we love to see. While most NFL playmakers are enjoying their offseason, traveling the world and probably playing a lot of golf, plenty of New York Giants standouts are putting in some serious work getting ready for the 2023 season to arrive. Despite week 1 still being about 5 months away, Daniel Jones and company are training in Arizona, working on building chemistry, which is huge. what makes things even better for Jones and Big Blue is that their star tight end, Darren Waller, packed his bags and has joined Danny Dimes and others in Arizona. Again, this is what we love to say. Absolutely. Absolutely. Waller isn't the only one catching balls from Jones in Arizona, as Art Stapleton is reporting. Saquon is out there, okay, on the, franchise tag, but, he's not happy about that and all and everything, right? Paris Campbell, right, the new addition, he's out there. Isaiah Hodgins, Sterling Shepard, Daniel Bellinger, and many more are in action. There's no question that the Giants were left with a sour taste in their mouth. Oh, absolutely. After getting dominated by the Eagles, I wouldn't. Dominating is being polite. You lose 38-7, and that's dominated. That's a polite way of putting it. Now the hard work begins to not only get some revenge on Philly once the regular season rolls around, but to try to get back to the playoffs as well. Absolutely. With Waller, he is acquired for a third-round pick, and fans can't wait to see him in action, despite his big-body tight end missing several games over the past 2 years due to various injuries. People have high hopes that he can be a reliable option in the passing game for Jones, head coach man Brian Dable, and second-year offensive coordinator Mike Kafka. The fact that Waller has wasted no time in connecting with Jones, okay, the same can be said for the recently signed Paris Campbell. It's quite exciting. Jeff Smith's out there as well, too. This offense was stagnant at times last season, but the hope is that the new look unit can put plenty of points on the board in 23. The majority of these guys getting together like this must bring a smile to the faces of both Dable and GM Joe Schoen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we got the list, okay? We got Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor, okay, the two quarterbacks out there. Now, as I said, don't be surprised if the Giants, got to grab some kind of developmental. I mean, they don't have to. There's, there's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks be getting released, after cut downs and all that and everything. But don't be surprised if the Giants somewhere in the draft, if they grab a quarterback, right? Especially one, to develop, especially if they're not going to bring Tyrod back after this season, right? So, don't be surprised. But as of right now, we got two quarterbacks. Okay, now Davis Webb, is a coach. Okay, then as I said, we got four running backs I can think of off the top of my head, right? Because Sandro Potscomber, he's not there anymore. Jashawn Corbin, right? Brightwell and Breida, right? Those guys weren't there. Barkley was there, right? So you got to give Barkley a lot of credit, okay? Because, he doesn't want to be on the franchise tag and all. He wants a long-term contract. He wants a security and all that stuff and everything, but he's out there. So got to give the man a lot of credit. Sterling Shepard's out there, right? Waller's out there. Bellinger's out there. Lawrence Cager and Tommy Sweeney's out there. Myrick's the only one that I can think of, tight end who's not out there, all right? I don't know what the situation is. I don't know. A lot of these guys, obviously, you don't know. But if you're on the outside kind of looking in, I would imagine you want to get your ass there, right? If Sweeney's there and Cager's there and Bellinger's there and Waller's there, I don't know why you wouldn't want to be there. It's not like they're not going to throw the ball to you. If you're there, you're going to get some valuable time. So if I was Myrick, I would get his ass there. But anyway. Dre Miller's there, Slayton's there, Paris Campbell's there, Isaiah Hodgins there, Colin Johnson, huge, because he was having such a nice training camp, tore his Achilles. Okay. So, keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully he comes back, and if he's healthy from that Achilles, look, I'm not saying the guy's going to be an all-pro or nothing, but huge because he's a big presence on the outside, which is what the Giants can use. All right. So between Hodgins, Slayton, hopefully Colin Johnson, we'll have to see what they do in the draft. Once again, I would be shocked if they didn't, with their 10 picks, didn't draft a wide receiver. Now, the question is, are they going wide receiver in the first round? You have to see who's there. Are they going to wait till the second or third round? Or maybe even wait till the fourth round? Because there's a lot of wide receivers who can contribute. But the thing is that having Colin Johnson back, a big-bodied wide receiver on the outside who did well last year, That's huge. Let's hope he can stay healthy. Even Jeff Smith's there. Okay, David Sills is there. Mekhi Polk is there, and Khalil Pimpleton is there. The guys, let's see here. Okay, Jaden Mickens is not there. Okay. Jamison Crowder's not there. Okay. And Wan'Dale Robinson. Now, Wan'Dale could be just trying to recuperate, obviously, from his injury. Maybe that's why he's not there. All right. Shepard, I'm not exactly sure if he's 100% or not, but he is there. As I said, maybe Wan'Dale might be off somewhere trying to recuperate, working on getting back into shape and all from his injury, okay, instead of trying to run pass patterns, right? So obviously that might be more important. He's on the team no matter what, regardless. Now, as I said, Jamison Crowder, why he's not there, you don't know. He's missing some valuable time, but I'm also saying, like, as I said, way down on the depth chart, okay, Jaden Mickens, all right, way down there right now. But I'm saying, it's like if you got, Khalil Pimpleton's there, David Sills is there, Jeff Smith's there, Mekhi Polk is there. I mean, you got a guy like Dre Miller. You got guys, who may not get a whole lot of action, but they're there. I would try to. I said, unless the guys are injured, I said I don't know what the story is with all the guys, but if they're there, they could be there. I get it. It costs some money. You got to get out there. You got to get your own hotel room. It's not paid for by the Giants. It's not like, the food is free or nothing like that. But if you want to build some chemistry, if you want to work your way onto the team or whatever, that's an ideal time to do it. But it is what it is. But it's regardless, it's nice to see there's 17 guys out there. Okay, so you got 2 quarterbacks, you got the 1 running back, okay? Then other 14 guys, you got, I guess, 4 tight ends and 10 wide receivers are out there. So that's really good to see. That's good to see. Okay, get that chemistry going early, okay? It can only help. It can only help. So, yeah. All right, so then finally, the Giants, okay, they've had, in their history, they've had 7 picks. 7 times they picked they picked number 25, okay, overall. Now, basically, since 1966, so if you go from 1967 on, so basically the last like 55 years or so, they've only drafted 1 time, pick number 25, okay? So all the other picks were from like 1939 to 1966, okay, where they drafted number 25. They haven't really struck gold, okay, with pick number 25. Matter of fact, the most, I think, was 58 games that they've gotten from a guy out of those 7. 58 games was the most that they've gotten from a guy, pick number 25, all right, in their history. So we go back to 1939. Okay. He's the first guy, okay, that the Giants picked in the, let's see what we got here, is John Chickenero. All right. He was picked in 1939. Okay. He was the 25th pick in the 1939 draft. Okay. Which happened to be, it was in the 3rd round. Okay. It just goes to show you, all right, how many teams there weren't many teams back then. All right. He played from actually his only season was in 1942. He didn't start playing. He drafted him in 39. He didn't play till 42. He played in a grand total of 4 games for the Giants, okay? John Chickenero, right? He was a back, all right? He was a back and a linebacker. He played in 4 games. Oh, my goodness. And then the next time was the next season, the following season, okay, John McLaury, right? 1940, okay? He was the 3rd round pick once again. He was an Ivy League product by way of Brown. McLaury also played just 1 season for Big Blue in 1940 as a back, okay? So he played, once again, 1 season. Now let's see here. McGlory, okay, third round, 1940. He played in a grand total of 9 games for the Giants. In 1940, he played 9 games. Never, and then he wound up becoming. He drafted him from Brown, okay, and then after he left the Giants, within I'm going to say, when the heck was it? Okay. 1959. So he went on I guess he went into the coaching ranks, I guess, but he became the head coach of Brown from 1959 to 1966. Okay. So between their 2 first picks that they got at number 25 in 1939 and 1940, they played a grand total of 13 games for the Giants. Okay. Now, their pick in the 1951 draft, okay, at number 25, okay, played the most games of any of the 7 guys. Okay, Ray Krause, 1951. He played in 58 games for the Giants. Okay, Ray Krause was a 2nd round pick. Okay, so you notice in 51, I guess they had more teams. They started getting more and more teams. Okay, the All-American Football Conference disbanded, so like the Cleveland Browns, the 49ers, some teams from the All-American Football Conference joined the NFL, so there became more teams. So now pick number 25 now became a 2nd round pick, right? But he was 6'3", 263-pound defensive lineman, played 5 seasons for the Giants from 51 to 55, okay? He appeared in 58 games. He started in 54 of them before playing his final 5 seasons for Baltimore, the Redskins, and Detroit Lions. Okay, so he had a nice lengthy career. Okay, he only played 5 seasons for the Giants, but he appeared in 58 games, which was the most out of these 7 guys. They got picked at pick number 25. Okay, then we got to go to 1961. Bruce Tarbox. There you go. Huh? Yeah. He didn't play for the Giants. Bruce Tarbox, a Nyack native, was taken by the Giants in the 2nd round of the 1961 draft and never played it down for Big Blue. 1961, the Vikings, there was 12 teams up to 1959. 1960, the Cowboys came in. That gave 13 teams. 1961, the Vikings came in, so there was 14 teams in the NFL, okay, in 1961. So therefore, pick number 25, okay, was a 2nd round pick. It wasn't until 1970, that's when the AFL and the NFL merged, okay, to become the new NFL, right? There was a total of 26 teams. So that it wasn't until 1970 that pick 25 became a 1st round pick, okay? But in the 60s, pick number 25 was a 2nd round pick, all right? But Bruce Tarbox, 1961, pick number 25 for the Giants, okay? He was a 6'2", 230-pound guard, which was a nice size guard back then. 6'2", nice size. 230, right? That was a solid size for a guard 60 years ago, right? He's from Syracuse. Tarbox played in 7 NFL games, all for the Los Angeles Rams in 1961. So he never played for the Giants. He once again, a 2nd round pick. Just to go to show you, I mean, the Giants missed on a lot of picks back then, okay, especially in the 60s, early 70s. That's why they stunk so bad from 1964 to 1980. They were not, anytime they had to, not anytime, they hit on some picks, don't get me wrong, but they did a lot of trading. They traded away a lot of their draft picks, and a lot of times when they did draft somebody, they missed on them, like this guy in the 2nd round. He never played it down for the New York Giants. I mean, nowadays, can you imagine how many guys would get fired if you pick number 25, all right? Or even a 2nd round pick if you want to go for that. If the guy never played for your team, holy cow. Wow. If you miss on a 2nd round pick, not that it doesn't happen, but if he doesn't play a game for you, wow. In today's NFL, that's a huge miss. All right, so that's Bruce Tarbox. Then we got 3 more guys. Steve Thurlow. Steve Thurlow was a running back out of Stanford that was selected in the 2nd round of the 1964 draft. Now, the thing was in 1964, okay, the Giants, they selected back-to-back running backs. I want to make sure. It's 1964. Yeah. They took Joe Don Looney, who never even played for the Giants. They drafted him in the first round. They cut him before preseason. He lasted 28 days for the Giants. Joe Don Looney was a very good player for Oklahoma, but he got kicked off of their football team. And then he got kicked off their team, and the Giants decided to draft this guy in the first round. Once again, their first round pick, he was number 12, Joe Don Looney in 1964, never even played for him. Once again, another reason why the Giants stunk back then. They never replenished their team with good quality players because they couldn't draft. Then their second round pick, Steve Thurlow, who was number 25 in the 1964 draft, was a running back, okay, out of Stanford. All right. Let's see. Let me get his stats here. I mean, he played 2 seasons for the he played a little over 2 seasons for the Giants. He played in 64 and 65 for the Giants. And then in 66, he played 1 game for the Giants. And then the rest of the season, he played for the Redskins. And in 67 and 68, he played for the Redskins. Okay. I mean, he played 26 games in 2+ seasons. So basically, he played 2 full seasons, 64 and 65 for the Giants. He played 1 game in 66, and then he went for and said he got traded to Washington for offensive lineman Darrell Dess, who was nothing. So even when they made that trade, they made it. Darrell Dess was like nothing, right? So once again, even when they made a trade there, it was horrible trade. So once again, their second round pick they missed on, right? It brings us to Don Davis Sr. in 1966, who's pick number 25 the Giants had, okay? Don Davis Sr. was a huge defensive tackle, stood 6'6" and 285 pounds. That was a big defensive tackle back then. He was a second round selection by the Giants in 1966 out of Los Angeles State, which is now Cal State, Los Angeles. And was also drafted by number 7 overall, the AFL San Diego Chargers. Davis played only 1 season for the Giants in 1966, which was the worst season in the history of the New York Football Giants. They were 1-12-1. They gave up 501 points on defense in 14 games. They gave over 40 points 3 times. They gave up over 50 points 1 time, and they gave up 72 points, to the Washington Redskins. The worst defense of all time for the New York Giants in 1966, the worst season ever. So Don Davis Sr. in 1966 was a second round pick number 25, okay? But in 1966, the 1 season he played for the Giants, he had 3.5 sacks, okay? So, I mean, he had the 1 season with the Giants, and that was it. Let me see if he played any place else here. But I mean, I said once again, they just draft guys and they just, either didn't make it in the NFL or nope, that's it. He played 1 season in the NFL. That's it. Their second round pick, 1 season. He played. He played all 14 games. He started 11 games. He had 3.5 sacks. Okay, he was a right defensive tackle, and after that, he played 1 season. So they're drafting guys in the second round back in 1966 who played 1 season. Absolutely unbelievably horrible. Then we come into the modern era. Okay, so basically ever since 1967 on, 66 was the first year of the Super Bowl, right? So ever since Super Bowl II, from Super Bowl II to now, the Giants have only picked number 25 in the draft 1 time, and that was in 2003. Okay, and it took William Joseph. Okay. He was selected in the first round of 2003. Giants drafted him out of the University of Miami. Joseph had the promise of continuing a long line of legendary Hurricane defensive linemen such as Jerome Brown, Russell Maryland, Warren Sapp, and Cortez Kennedy. It never happened. The often injured Joseph showed some flashes and played in 55 games for the Giants, starting in just 17, finishing his career with the Oakland Raiders. Now, the thing was with him, okay, I mean, he wound up being a backup. His first year, I mean, you draft somebody in the first round he was like a backup to Keith Hamilton because Keith Hamilton had been around. Keith Hamilton was only going to play so much longer. So I guess they were kind of, once Keith Hamilton, retired or moved on, I mean, they were going to put Joseph in there and take his spot. Okay. But I mean, in 2003, Joseph played 14 games, didn't start any. His second season, he only started in 4 games. So basically, they took somebody, a defensive tackle at number 25. After 2 seasons, he only started in 4 games. I mean, he didn't hardly miss much time due to injury. Okay. But so he played 4 seasons for the Giants. He started in 17 games in 4 seasons for the Giants. Then he played 2008 and 2009 with the Oakland Raiders, and he never started a game for them. So in his whole career, he played 6 seasons. He started in 17 career games. Now, the big problem with him, all right, he was a holdout. Okay. He was a holdout. All right. Joseph was drafted by the Giants in the first round. After a holdout, he signed a 5-year, $6.95 million contract. He played 14 games as a rookie, primarily as a reserve defensive tackle. He finished the season with 6 tackles. They drafted him in the first round, and he had 6 tackles for the whole season, and he was a holdout. I mean, that was the problem back then. Like a lot of the guys, he said, I believe he said the wording in the contract was the problem. I don't know, maybe the money wasn't a problem or exactly what it was, but William Joseph, I mean, he held out, and so he wound up falling behind. So, I mean, he took a guy in the first round, and he wound up with 6 tackles in his first season. He didn't start any games. Just a bad pick. Bad pick. So, I mean, the Giants don't have a good history at all at pick number 25. Let's keep our fingers crossed, okay, that this time, pick number 25 for the New York Giants, which will be their 8th time picking number 25, will be a freaking home run because you add all these guys up together, all right, those 7 guys up together, they barely played a little over 100 games for the New York Giants. Pick number 25. So 25 has not been successful for the Giants. So let's hope this draft coming up changes things. Well, guys, it's been 37 minutes. Anybody spent any time watching any of this, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Or if anybody spends any time watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. That means so much to me. Thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.